This is Abnormal Entertainment.
There is nothing like watching a movie on the big screen, and with MoviePass, you can see unlimited movies every month from Abnormal Entertainment. Head to abnormalentertainment.com and click on the MoviePass banner to get your first month free. And after that, it's only $30 a month to see unlimited movies, even on opening day. Go as many times as you want. Have a blast with MoviePass and abnormalentertainment.com. Welcome, everybody, to the Cinema Head Cheese Podshort for Dear White People. This is Kevin Moyers, and I have to say, before you start going, which I'm sure a lot of people did, the second they read this title, listen to what I'm going to say to you, and watch the fucking show. Okay? This is one of those things, in this time period that we are in, that is going to probably piss off people without them even looking at what it is. So, I'm going to give you a little rundown of it. I watched the first episode, just came up this April, watched the first episode, liked it. And then the next day, I was in a little bit of pain. I think I have a kidney stone, which is awesome. Highly recommend getting one of those. Sat through the other 9 episodes while I just sat curled up like Ruth Bader Ginsburg in my chair. So, all right. So here's the gist of the show. Okay, you have a young college student named Samantha White at a mostly white Ivy League college. Now, she's biracial, but identifies more as a black woman because she looks black, right? She looks light-skinned black. So most people don't even know she's half white. She is very vocal on her college radio show called Dear White People. And as always, I'm warning you, I may spoil a few things. Not anything big, if I can help it, but little story details. So, anyway, she does this radio show, and she kind of spills on the show these faux pas that you shouldn't do. Things that you may have heard a million different times. Like asking, what are you? And it's in the trailer, so I don't feel bad saying it. She's like, a person is going to slap the shit out of you right now. But she goes into these little stereotypical things that are asked or that are done that shouldn't be done. Now, before you get your panties in a bunch, and that goes for men and ladies, it's non-gender specific panties. And I'm getting to this. It's about dealing with race in general. It's not just about how black people deal with race. First of all, it's mostly focused on how millennials are dealing with race right now. It's set in a college. The college seems to be Harvard because it's Ivy League, number one. Number two, there is a school paper called the Panache, I believe, which I think is supposed to represent the National Lampoon, because they go on to say that a lot of the writers go on to successful Hollywood careers and stuff like that, which is what happens with the National Lampoon. So I think that's kind of what they're parodying there. So Samantha does her show. She's very vocal and for black student rights and, racial equality, that sort of thing. And this pisses off some people, right? So the head of the panache decides to throw a blackface party. So again, it's a current millennial thing, things that are happening in colleges right now. And of course, this does not go over well. Well, we find out that the party was canceled, but somebody sent the invite out anyway. And this is where my favorite character in the whole show comes in. There's a character named Lionel. He's a young kid. He knows he's gay, hasn't had any experiences yet, kind of has the hots for his roommate, Troy, who his dad is the dean. But Lionel also writes for one of the school papers. And he is a very good investigative reporter. He digs, he finds things, and he works his ass off to get the real story out. And honestly, I think without Lionel, the story just doesn't go. I think he's like the drive shaft of the story, while Samantha and Troy and Samantha's boyfriend Gabe, who is white, they're bigger characters in the story. Coco, Reggie, these are all big characters in the story. Lionel really keeps things moving. Now, different episodes focus on different people, and there are 2 Lionel episodes, but he's not in every episode of the show. So his actions, though, they just keep things going. So we get into questions like, why can't a white kid sing along with a rap song that has the N-word in it, right? And now I'm white, and I'm also, on my other show, Raise Your Spirits, my co-host there and one of the founders of this podcast network, Cam Harston, he created a holiday called Fancy Nigga Day, right? And yes, I just said it, but I am, since he passed, in charge of keeping this thing going every year on the anniversary of his passing. And that is his cousin, our cousin, I like to say, who wanted me to keep that going. So, is that a pass? Do I get the okay there? You know what I mean? This is the kind of stuff that, and I do. I'm sorry, but I do, because I'm carrying this thing on for him, and at her request. That's a case where it's just like, that is what it is. But Reggie, who is a very vocal advocate for rights and equality and stuff like that, equals Samantha. Like, they work together a lot on this. His white friend singing along with a song at a party, and they get into an argument over this. So he's like, are you calling me racist because I said it? I'm just singing along with the song. He's like, you can't say it. And it gets into a whole thing, ends in a fight. So that kind of thing is addressed. And you have Gabe, who, his girlfriend is Samantha. He's the lone white guy in this group most of the time. And things are said, racial things, or even racist things about white people. And in his episode, he kind of like fantasizes about standing up, going, just because I am white and I am male does not make me an asshole. But instead, he sits there and he just smiles and nods, Giancarlo Esposito, everybody knows as Gus from Breaking Bad. He's in several other shows, movies, but he is the narrator, and he kind of speaks through the kind of in the mind of the characters, which is really great. He does a fine job narrating. His tone is just perfect. Gives you a little, like, it's a little comedic and a little, well, it's fucked up, stuff like that. So he just has such a perfect tone for this. I don't know. I love it. I hope he stays with it if they get into a season 2. But it digs into these common things, which is great, including in Lionel's first episode. He goes into a white barbershop. He has a big, bushy fro. It's unkempt. He really needs a haircut. And white barbershop, they all kind of look. They don't know what the fuck to do with him. Goes into a black barbershop, and they're like, I'm not serving a gay kid. And so there's that addressed in there. There are episodes where they deal with Asian stereotypes and things like that. It's so well done. And to me, it was interesting watching because when I was college age, 20 years ago, you didn't hear about blackface parties or things like that happening in colleges. I mean, shitty stuff happens in fraternities and stuff like that always. If you watch Animal House, which I did recently for the first time, did not enjoy myself at all. It's filmed in the 70s, takes place in the 60s, and it's just debauchery and scumbaggery through the whole thing. So it's just the whole I don't know, fraternity thing has always been kind of gross to me. I've never lived through it. I don't know. I have friends that have been in it. Dave Hayes was in a fraternity. Don't know. I don't know what it's like. So from the outside, it always just seems scummy to me. And I'm sure that's not the case all the time. But that's what, is portrayed most of the time. So they do get into different things that millennials are dealing with now in college. So that's really great to me because every generation has its racial turmoil, its civil rights issues and dealings, and you can go back as far as slavery in this country, or as far as the Europeans coming and killing off the Native Americans. It's just different for each generation. And this gives a picture of what the current generation is dealing with, specifically. And they are dealing with more gay rights issues. They are dealing with racism from different angles. That it felt like when I was a kid, it was black and white. We didn't hear about Hispanics. We didn't hear about Asians, Middle Eastern people. We just didn't. It seemed to always be the black and white focus. And everybody else was sort of forgotten. And they do deal with some of it here, which is good. Because it is a thing. I mean, everything is a thing. But they also deal with how, white people now they feel left out. Sort of like, I can't do or say anything or I'm a bad guy. So that's interesting that they dig into this. Like, Reggie's friend saying, I can't remember the friend's name, but saying, are you calling me racist because I just sang along with the song? And he's like, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just asking you to say. But the feeling is like that, I'm not racist, man. You know that. And why are you making me feel like you think I am and stuff like that? There is that sensitivity. Can I say anything? Can I do anything without being wrong? And that is a fear of a lot of people. And I don't know. I'm just a boorish ass, and I say and do a lot of things I probably shouldn't. But I'm not uncomfortable with that because a lot of what you say and do is how you say and do it. So, when done with respect, it's a different thing. But I think we're in a time where words matter a lot more than they ever have, and that is addressed as well. So it's a tightrope. The whole thing is a tightrope, and it's really interesting to see how they handled it in this show. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. It was such a thing when I was a kid. Like, segregation, I guess segregation always happens, but the biggest thing when I was a kid was music. White kids were into metal, black kids were into hip-hop, Mexican kids kind of went to metal or punk sometimes. It just like, and this is in Chicago and where I was growing up. So, it was interesting. Like, music was that division until you had Aerosmith and Run DMC, or Public Enemy and Anthrax getting together. Ice-T starts a metal band. We had Living Colour all of a sudden. The Beastie Boys were rapping. Eminem came up. So we started to mix and blur those lines, my generation, through entertainment. You had Lethal Weapon. I don't remember anybody mentioning race in any of those 4 movies. I really don't. There was a guy in a Chinese restaurant, and they kept saying something about fried lice, making fun of him. That was the only racial thing that I really remember from those movies. I haven't watched them in a long time. But Murtaugh and Briggs or whatever, they were just 2 guys. One was a nut and one was a family man, and they were best friends. That's all it was. And, hopefully, I think I did a lot for my generation, and hopefully a show like this can do a lot for the current generation in getting people to see each other's sides and fears and confusions, because a lot of that is addressed here, and I think that's great. One wonderful line that cracked me up was when Samantha's on the radio and she's taking a call, and the guy says something, and she's like, well, you need to check your white privilege. And he's like, I'm black. And she goes, oops, sorry, my brother, and hangs up on him. It just, it was funny. And watching the mistakes people make. I don't know. Just before you get shitty about the show based on the title, watch the goddamn show. It's so good. The lead is Logan Browning, and I'm going to check right now. There were a couple faces that looked familiar to me, but I didn't really know where to place them. Yeah. Let's see. Logan Browning has been in quite a bit. But she's fairly young, born in '89. I mean, again, we're talking college age people. She's been in a lot of kids stuff. John Patrick Amadori, who plays Gabe. I thought, oh, that looks like the guy from Livin' Maddie, but he's not. So, but let's see. He was in a few things I've never seen. Oh, Butterfly Effect. I don't know where he was in there. That's the one thing. So, it's a young cast. And they all have credits all over the place. And, you may have seen them in other places. Not sure where. But, see, there's a Dear White People movie, which I have not seen. And Brandon Bell, who plays Troy, is in the movie as well. So, plays the same character. And I don't know how many... yeah, it's a different cast for the... See, I'm going to have to seek out this movie now. It's a couple people are the same in in the TV show and the movie. And Marquis Richardson is the only other name I see in both, and he's Reggie. So I'm going to have to look for the movie. It came out in 2014. And I had heard of it, so when I saw the show, I wondered, is it the same? So apparently it is, since two of the characters are the exact same. They're like the Radar O'Reilly of the show. He's the only actor that went from the movie to the TV show for MASH. So it's kind of interesting there. Anyway, it's a great show. It's not just about race. It's about millennials in their place in this, in their generation's dealings, and it's fantastic. It's really great. And like I said, even Giancarlo Esposito, yeah, I need more coffee. He's fantastic as a narrator. He just has the perfect tone for each episode. So, and every episode follows a character, except for the last one. It's about everybody. So, I love that style. Love giving everybody their time. Every character, a couple characters have more than one episode dedicated to them. So, it's definitely worthwhile. It's one of those where I may watch it again, because I really enjoyed it. So I'm hoping they do a second season. It ends with a like a lead-in to season 2, hopefully. And there's 4 years of college. Why not? So, but yeah, Samantha's a sophomore. You can at least do 3 seasons of this. So let's see what they do. But anyway, dear white people, check it out. It's a great show. And in today's times, with as shitty as things are, it's good to have something out there addressing all these different questions and feelings and angles. And I loved every bit of it. It needed to happen. So, a TV show may not save the world, but maybe it can open a few eyes. That'd be nice. Anyway, head to cinemaheadcheese.com. Check out all of our articles over there, our reviews. A lot of good stuff there. A lot of cool new stuff that's up. And also head to abnormalentertainment.com. Check out all of the shows over there. On Monday, we will have a brand new show called The Year of Living Stevie. Now, that is a show about Stevie Wonder. And Daryl Bean is the host. He's a musician, and he talks to different bands about their fandom for Stevie, and they all play songs of his. They all cover different songs. In the first episode, you get a deep track and a more popular song, a more well-known song that was covered when I was in high school by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So I'm sure you can guess which song that is. But anyhow, check that out. So many other things put it together. Kayfabe with Frankie G if you're into wrestling. Of course, Masterpiece Theater. I consider the sister show to this, about pop culture. What else? Raise Your Spirits, as I mentioned earlier. Double D Podcast, Demand the Cure, Mac and Cheese. And I always feel like I'm missing something or somebody. The No Cry Zone. There you go. If you're into politics, which, this show kind of digs into. So if you like this kind of thing, go check that out. You will like that. And God, I will always feel like I'm forgetting one, but that's okay. It's been mentioned, whatever it is. Just head to abnormalentertainment.com and go check it out. So anyhow, thank you as always for listening, and I will see you next time. Subscribe and download back episodes of Cinema Head Cheese the podcast, and read all of our movie reviews and news at cinemaheadcheese.com. Email us at cinemaheadcheese@yahoo.com. Search Cinema Head Cheese on Facebook and tweet us at CINHeadCheese. And for more podcasts, books, comics, blogs, and videos, head to abnormalentertainment.com.
You've been listening to the Abnormal Entertainment Network.
In a land ruled by boredom, one woman has come forth to bring games to your table.
Quiet down. I'm trying to read these rules. Don't you have an inner monologue?
Sorry, I didn't mean to spill that.
You guys aren't even supposed to be here today. Visit Gloryhound and the Uninvited Gamers on Stitcher, iTunes, or at gloryhound.com.